let's reveal our mystery man, and I'm going to kind of grill him pretty hard. Where did he get there? Oh, he's up in the top left. He's got the most perfect spot there. So, dude, I am so freaking proud of you. Like, there's a lot of reasons why I saw your campaign, I saw what you're doing, and there's just so much genius in it. But Tom Curtis is the man of the hour. What'd you end up with? Like 52 sales at 900 a piece, something like that?
Yeah, I did it the first couple days, it was 800. And then there was like a deadline for that special price. I raised it up $100. If I had to do over again, I'd do it more like 200 or 300, but whatever. So then it went up to 900. So I started on like a Wednesday or Thursday. If I had it to do over, I would have shortened that time as well. But yeah.
Let's talk about some of this, right? If you don't mind, would you share with people like what is kind of like the niche, right? Or what industry are you in?
Yeah, so it's the roofing industry. I owned a roofing company for a long time, and I served a specific niche. So I don't know where everybody's from, but it's the homeowner association market, which is like condos, townhomes, where there's like multiple units all in one community. And so I only ever served that niche. I didn't do anything else. And it turns out a lot of roofing contractors are trying to crack the code on how to get into that market, like how to get their foot in the door. That's what they're always saying. Like, so they're
so why do they want to get their foot in that door, right? Rather than just doing residential roofing and all that kind of stuff. What are they trying to do?
It's bigger jobs. You know, if you're putting on a roof on a house, well, that's just one roof on a house. But if you've got, you know, say 2, 3, 4, 500 condo or townhome units in one community that need all of their roofs replaced, or they need a bunch of roof repairs, that's big money. It's long-term money. It could be a long-term relationship where they're going to have all kinds of needs. And you are leveraging, that's the one thing, is you're leveraging a relationship with like one property manager that might manage multiple HOAs.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than like going and getting a house here and a house here all over the city or the town, well, you leverage a relationship with one property manager that can equal thousands of like single family homes.
That's great. So your group is about 1,900 of those folks, right? When you were first putting this together, right, you're like, oh, and your doc is like 4 pages, but it's really like 3 pages because you got pictures and then like your pictures on the last page and those kind of things. Like before you put this out there, right, and you said you started with $800 price level.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts? Like how well did you think this was going to go when you put this out there? You can just be frank. Like how did you think it was going to go?
I had no idea. I just pulled that number out of my butt. Like it wasn't like I was trying to just kind of go low ticket just to try more of a low ticket thing with the Google Doc. I mean, I've used the Google Doc for, you know, $5,000 and $10,000 things in that group, but
that was one of the first genius things. I mean, you did a lot of genius things we're going to talk about in there, but like one of the first things that stood out to me was how you pre-sold the price. That's one of the 5 Ps, is pre-selling that price, right? So it was almost a freaking no-brainer, right? Just the way, from a pricing standpoint, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, like I guess normally I would have not revealed the price in that post because it was like a hybrid, like a T1 and a T2, because, you know, I looked for the hand raisers and then qualified them there as well. And I anchored the price, right? I told them like straight up, like I have a mastermind. They paid like a total of 10 grand to be in there. Yeah. So I gave them that higher price. And then I was like, you know, I'm thinking of doing this for like $900. And then I did the whole IVQ thing, the investment value qualifier. So I get told the investment. Most people make it back with I ended up tweaking it. Most people make it back with just one or two relationships, meetings with a property manager and maybe one simple repair.
So there's more genius stuff right there.
And then
you didn't say, hey, I'm going to help you add 8 figures to your roofing business.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, if you just open up one relationship, right? So you chunked it down to a smaller specific thing, which was really
and the thing is, like, these companies, like, most of them can't actually handle a lot of more stuff. They just can't. Yeah. And so I try to tackle that real problem that they're having, is actually getting meetings with property managers and not fumbling that meeting, not just totally destroying it, which most of them do. And so I did, the qualifier was gotta have big balls, big ovaries, because I did get some ladies that signed up.
Yeah.
And you can't be afraid to go talk to property managers. That's really it. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
A lot of hand raisers on the post, and then a lot of people messaged me as well.
That's awesome. So he's kind of in our buying frenzy offer tool. Basically what he's doing is he's filling out the give me blank and I'll give you blank, right? Give me $900 or give me $800, right? And he actually did it in a really cool way, which I haven't revealed yet, but he didn't say, I'm going to give you a course. I'm going to give you coaching. I'm going to give you training, which wouldn't be the appropriate thing for this, right? Because like we're just sending them to a doc. We're going to talk about this a little bit deeper, right? But how did you position the thing that they were getting from a conceptual standpoint?
Shoot, I'd have to look at the post. I'm
actually looking at your Google Doc, right? So, hey, you're going to get this, right? Rather than call it a course or.
Shoot, where did it? Oh my gosh!
I'll go ahead. So you have to look for it. Yeah. You called it the HOA toolkit. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I didn't want it to feel like a course or coaching or anything like overwhelming. And they're used to using tools, right?
That's one of the genius parts of it. Yes, they're roofers. They're used to using tools, right? So there was also a double entendre there. Not an entendre, maybe that's not the right word. This is what happens when an Arkansas boy starts to try to be fancy talker. But yes, it's a toolkit, but are they used to spending $400, $900, a couple of grand on tools already?
Oh yeah. When I owned my company, I was at Home Depot every day.
Yes. So you're just like, hey, here's just another tool, right? I'm going to give you the tools to locate the people, the relationships, how to open up the combos. And I'm kind of going from memory there, right? Yeah. But it's just a toolkit, right? Yep. So super, super smart there.
And that's something I learned from you that really, really helped. So when I first started this, my focus, right, was, getting them these giant roofing jobs. And these can be several $100,000, over $1 million.
That's right.
That can overwhelm somebody if they're not prepared, because they'll need more manpower and stuff like that. And so I got to what, like the biggest result, the fastest and quickest, most meaningful result I could get for them, I realized, was just getting their foot in the door. Because I started letting the market write the marketing for me. So I was like, what are they asking about the most? And I went through posts in my group and comments, and I went to other groups, and it was like, hey, how do I get my foot in the door?
I'm afraid, like, I'm just going to Ghostbuster you with goop of my proudness, right? Because what most people do, and you didn't do, is most people skip all those steps, and they're just like, buy my thing. It's going to give you this big, ginormous result, right? And then what happens? Then they got to be on phone calls. They got to do these webinars, right? And all these things. When you just say, like, what's that thing that can help them check off their to-do list, right? That they may not. And really what you're helping them do is check off doing lower dollar jobs, right? In a sense, like, ooh, if you could get one relationship that opens you up. Like how many of these other jobs wouldn't you have to do anymore with this toolkit, right? So it was just like, it was a no-brainer, right? It was like, this is a no-brainer campaign, right? Like, they're used to spending those money on tools. They're used to buying tools. You named it the toolkit. You did a great job coming in there and positioning and pre-selling the price, right? Like, hey, and you don't always have to pre-sell price, like, hey, or anchor to some value price, right? But you can anchor to the pain of saying where they're at. We did really great. Like, hey, I'm not going to ask you 10K like I have in the past for this. I'm going to give you a really great deal, right? Do people like really great deals? I don't care if you're a roofer, right? Or a sommelier. Everybody likes really great deals, right? When we send out stuff, when Jeff and I send out stuff to our land people, cheap land alerts, right? Like, whoo, they want the deal on this thing. They want to see, like, I'm selling this to you the same price that it was sold for in 2006, right? 28 years ago, and you're getting at the same price in 2000. They're like, holy crap, right? And I could show it to them, right? It's a deal, right? So they love that. So what questions should I ask you that I didn't ask you? Like anything that I'm not seeing below the surface there?
I don't know about a question, but there was one thing I wanted to point out that's been really helpful for me when doing this kind of stuff is like when you say pre-sell the price. Now that can mean like, the price of the offer, but the other thing is like not just the price, but the cost. Like what's it costing them?
Yeah.
To not get this stuff, I guess. Or what's it costing them to stay stuck going and doing all these houses everywhere else, as opposed to just leveraging one relationship, like one relationship with one property manager.
I love it because you've given them, and we're going to go into this deeper, you've given them what I call a very simple plan, right? Here's all we got to do. We got to get one relationship. Does that seem way more doable than like, hey, let's get you, even getting a multi-million-dollar HOA job, right? Like, whew, that sounds so hard. But I can show you how to open conversations, with the right person. That sounds so much more doable, right? So again, just a hat tip to you for the way that you came into that.
One thing I focus on right in the beginning is like what they're actually offering. Like when I figured out in my company, when I owned my roofing company, like what I was actually offering had nothing to do with roofing services. So the funny thing is, we never talk about roofing. The stuff that's in the deliverables I gave them,
mm-hmm.
I really don't talk about roofing at all. It's just the relationship. And this isn't like a transformation thing. It's just, I haven't realized
Rudolph content
door there really.
Yeah.
They're trying to get their foot in. It's just imaginary because, and I talk to them like, what your focus is when you're going to meet them, what's their focus, what's the most useful focus, right?
Yeah.
And they're focused on stuff that's completely different. I say, don't give them a business card, brochure.
Yeah.
Don't show them your wrapped truck that's in the parking lot. They don't care. And they're going to throw that stuff away anyway. And I've heard property managers say that they do that. So now the one question I was going to say, and I was sneaky about this offer is, what's the challenge I'm running them up to? So I'm just helping them from getting that foot in the door, getting the meetings. Then I show them how to get bidding opportunities, how to be the highest bidder and still get the job. So I give them a proposal template that's just awesome. And then I give them
let me pause because they're so genius. How to be the highest bidder and still get the job.
Yeah.
Is that like all these things there's another P. These are the plan, right? Like what he's doing is pre-selling the plan, which we're going to talk a lot about on the call today, is pre-selling the plan, right? And making sure that the plan's not too big that you can't pre-sell it in 2 to 4 pages, right? Or in the stuff before that, right? But what you're doing is pre-selling the plan. Almost nobody does that. Like, oh, you got this problem? Buy my shit. Oh, you got this problem? It's terrible, isn't it? And they grind it in, then it's buy my shit. But they leave out all the other pre-sales in there. So that's really good, dude.
Yeah. So then I teach them like, one question to ask that, and it's how to bid higher.
You're gonna get it just for that. Good Lord, if I could get this one question, right? So yeah, I really like that.
I call it the $1 million question, because if you ask this question the right way and you use the proposal template I have, I don't guarantee they're gonna make $1 million, but I say
that's right.
It's a pretty good chance. It's just asking the property manager and the board members of the HOA, what concerns do you have about this job? So you get the truth on the table about what they're concerned about. Are they concerned about nails on the ground and how long is it going to take and the noise and all that? Awesome. Build the solutions to that problem in the proposal. Why would they go with anybody else? Once I started doing that, I never had to bid against anybody.
That's awesome. And that question probably has made you $1 million, right? Or
it was great.
Use it multi-million dollars. So that's great.
And I've used that in so many different capacities, not just roofing. But okay, now the problem I'm running them up to, the challenge, right? So I take them all the way up to having a proposal ready, answering that, getting the answer to that question. But then they've got to go, if it's a bigger job, 6-7 figures, they've got to go to the board meeting.
Yeah.
Got to pitch the job there. They got to do a slide presentation.
Yeah.
I don't show them how to do that. Because
that's totally cool, right? That's totally cool. As long as you're telling them what you're doing, right?
That part freaks them out. That's, even if they're standing in front of 4, 5, 6 board members and a property manager, that's public speaking. That's getting up in front of people. And there's a very delicate way to do it. Yeah. So I run them up to that challenge. And what I want to do is, for the ones that have maybe high 6-figure and 7-figure and above, any of those jobs, here's the challenge I see is pitching this the right way, getting everything put together so that you can shine and everything just flows perfectly and you can actually win that job. Feel like you want some help with that. So I'm hoping, so the bottom line, I want to help them win those jobs. I won't go there and pitch it for them, but because I want them to learn how to do it. And I'll take a percentage of the.
You can be their HOA meeting wingman.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty awesome.
So there's nothing up front. It's just, hey, if you win it, then let's share the pie.
So, and that's really the bigger thing, right? Like 52 people and 900-ish a piece, somewhere between 40 and 50 grand, right? First off, and I've been telling people this, and I hope I can lovingly get this across to you guys. One of the worst things you could do is just to never run this fucking campaign again. That'd be one of the worst things you could fucking do. He's already got it figured out. He's already got it done. My experience is it doesn't always bear out, but the second time you run it, you make more money because people saw it before and they're like, ooh, I wanted to get that last time, right? So, if you run it again in like October or fall, right? Or something like that, like you probably make the same amount of sales, if not more, as you did this time, right? Because your group's 1,900 people and 52 people bought. That's awesome. But that's like 1,850 people that didn't buy, right? So if you can run that 3 or 4 times a year, if that's all you did from a 1,900 person group, you got $150,000 to a $200,000 a year income stream from that. But you set it up so nicely. I don't know where you learned all this shit from, but you set it up so nicely that, even if you did a terrible job of asking, like 20% of these people will come into your next higher level thing if you were only to ask. Right. And I guarantee you, if they paid $900 on the front end, they'll pay you $900 a month, right, for a year or 10 months, right? So let's just go with 20% of 50. That's 10, right? It's another 10 times 10. There's another 100 grand, right? So let's just say you run 3 of these a year, 50-ish a piece, that's 150 people, right? You put in 20% would be 30 people, right? You start adding that up, you got a $500,000 a year business from a 1,900 person Facebook group. You don't have a fucking traffic problem anymore. You got kids in the room, please. I hope you got earphones on because I get excited, right?
Now I did cheat a little bit. I used the @everyone little tag that everybody's flipping out about.
Yeah.
I never used it before, and it doesn't work. I'm seeing that it's not working for everybody and in every group. It did for mine. So that was one thing.
It's here nor there, but it's like if you show up in their feed, right? Like that's kind of the whole point of the group anyway. So I've kind of got a contrarian view on that. And again, I realize you probably don't want to overuse it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with putting everyone in there. If people really don't want to hear from me, they're, I mean, in a most loving way, I love everybody, but
I got some
if they really don't want to hear from me, then awesome. Like, you know.
I got some people cussing me out for it, but that was fine. It was a few.
I send out snail mail. It goes right to their box, right? And like people do cuss me out for making lowball offers, but nobody says, "Oh my God, you showed up in my mailbox." It's just a weird thing, right? Like it is. So I don't want to get tied up on that. But dude, like that's awesome. I want to thank you for not only just taking action on this, but for being so willing to share with everybody here. So I'm gonna give you a hand. You guys want to give him a hand, high five, something like that? That's awesome, man.
I appreciate you. I mean, I was just using the Travis sauce.